Here it is. Blood Punch has been tested in a very interesting way. I'm going to show you how we did it and the results that came from it. If you haven't seen part 1 of the video, I'll put it up in the card here for you to check out first. So as you can see here, there's quite a lot going on in the screen that is not normal. I want to explain everything to you. And this is a test to see what makes Blood Punch work and fail. As you can see here, we're beating up the Cybermancubus, and something seems different. So first of all, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see Sea of Ash's HP tool. This tells you what demons are active in the encounter, or battle, how much health they have, and which ones are the key trigger enemies that you need to go for. And if you aren't familiar with trigger enemies, I have a whole video dedicated to that and a second part coming soon. This is important because we can pair it up with commands that will help us further test Blood Punch. The first command that I'm using is P_infinite blood punch space 1. Now these commands are unlocked in the console with a program. This will give me infinite blood punches if I have a punch charged. Now if I don't, then it looks something like this. It's a regular punch with 1 damage. The reason we use the infinite blood punch command is that I can constantly throw out punches and not have to worry about recharging, so I can get a lot of testing done in a little time, and it's super convenient to do. Next up, we have no target. If you notice, the enemies are only looking at me, they're not targeting me. I did this so I could make sure that I could get different angles consistently for the blood punch and see what connected and what didn't through testing that way. And finally, we have G_damage scale all to AI and space whatever value. For this first part, I use 0.1. That makes me do 10% of my regular damage to the enemy. This means I can get a lot more blood punches in a little time without having to worry about loading the checkpoint or finding another monster. I can get as many angles as I want, straightforward, easy to do. Now there are some things that you want to make sure you use different values over time. So we tuned it up to 0.5 here. I'm doing half the normal amount of damage as I do on a blood punch on this Cacodemon. 500 damage is the halfway point. And you remember, if the damage value is too low, certain things won't happen. That Cybermancubus didn't have his armor broken at first, did he? There have been reports that some of the problem enemies are Dread Knights, Hell Knights, and Revenant. So I wanted to make sure that we included the Dread Knight in the testing of this arena as well. Now we're going to be testing out some real battles here in just a moment. Remember, this is a super controlled environment. You can see that we have complete control over the Whiplash, and of course, we want to try out a little bit of the Marauder blood punching, which actually is possible and does do damage. Now you might find it interesting here in just a moment when we go to the real battles that the Marauder does take damage, and you can actually blood punch and attempt to kill him, as evidenced by the practice rounds here. Be sure to stick around for that because I think you'll find it pretty interesting. Next up, we're going to do a simulation battle. Let's see what that looks like. Now, the only thing I changed here was taking off no target and adding God mode. Now, this is step 2 of 3, and the reason I did it this way was I wanted to figure out the details of the blood punch, and I know that, or at least have a very strong feeling that it's tied to the animation states and falters of a demon. So I wanted to try to simulate a real battle that I could go in and make really gutsy moves like this with, that normally I couldn't do in a real match, so I could try to get extra blood punches in to try to see what was going on. Now I'm trying to think as a musician here, and if you've seen my streams on Twitch, you have seen my Ibanez RG in the background. If you're not following me over there, you should. Do a lot of cool stuff. And I'm thinking in terms of BPM, except this time it's blood punches per minute, not beats per minute. And then look at the Mancubus fly. That was really funny. Did you see him kind of just whoop up the stairs right there? Anyway, we're going to do the real battle next. There is something weird that happens in it. I don't want to tell you just yet. I want to see if you can point it out. I'm just trying to get all the blood punches I can in right now. Failure, not failure, just getting everything going. And I want to see if you can figure out what maybe went wrong. This real battle is a really freaking good challenge if you want to try this out. So let's roll the clip. So this will be fun. I'm going to use primarily blood punch only as my main source of damage. Yes, I might use some grenades or maybe meat hook to an enemy, flame belch, but if I want to do damage, I'm not shooting my gun. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to blood punch them because I want to know in a real, true, honest battle scenario without any god mode or anything what happens. And I died. So let's try that one again now. Okay. Yeah, this is really hard because I need to get those falters in there. I need to make sure they are reliable, that I can go in for the blood punch. Cybermancubus went down just fine, because when you are using blood punch only, you begin to realize how much you really want it to work. Now, the Cybermancubus was fine. The Caco, sort of not. I want to actually call attention to something here in just a moment. I'm going to leave it as is for now. The Prowler is a little tricky because of the teleportation. Thankfully, I'm able to get that Cacodemon into stagger mode, knock him out, and look who is out now. How am I going to handle this on a blood punch only situation without no target? Well, I have infinite blood punch, and they say to have push forward combat in Doom Eternal. Look at that. Let's just do it. Let's go. Let's go. Just Tyson up on the Marauder, knock his dog out with the blood punch. Don't even care. Hit the shield. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just punching because I didn't expect this to happen. Didn't think about getting to this point. And of course, I died again. So naturally it's possible, but it's tough. Okay, so let's try to figure out some failures and maybe why they happen and what caused them and how you can avoid it messing up your run. Now, the craziest blood punch fail is from my friend Zexy. Get ready for this. He went to go hit a switch and accidentally blood punched it. I wish we had footage of that one. I've never heard of that before. But real quick, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and glory kill the like button because 1 like equals 1 demon slain, and you want to do your part to save Earth, right? Thanks a bunch, Great Slayer. Now, I don't know if there's any fails in this Kako. There's so much going on here, but this one, there is. Watch the clip here. Get ready for it. Ready for it? Let's slow that down and take another look. As he's coming out of the ice bomb, turning toward me with this animation, he seems to not take the blood punch. Watch it again. Ready? Boom. See how all that comes together? That's something on my mind. Maybe the ice bomb had something to do with it with the animation. Let's take a look at this one here, sent in by Kaoma. This is something I want to go over. We have a know-how on what is going on with this one. You can see something's not going right here. But why? Well, I asked him if he could replicate this, and he was able to after about 15 minutes of solid trying. So if you take a look, he meat hooks. Look at the stagger. That was weird. It was like a jumpy stagger. So watch, he meat hooks again. He's down on the ground. The Revenant's on the ground. Look, nothing. So we think it has something to do with the meat hook and letting him come out of the stagger. And if you notice, it's all animation based. He's on the ground there, and it seems like he's just not taking any blood punches. Now, there's something in the Glory Kill challenges to where you can have an enemy bypass the stagger state due to animations. So I really think it's something to do with the animation state. So I can go over that more in another video if you want me to. It's really interesting. But it seems like the meat hook ties into that. Okay, so maybe let's try another case just to make sure it's animations and meat hook. How about that? Look at Red Warrior here going on the Dread Knight. Here we go. Watch. Meat hooks, nothing. And then it connects. Let's slow that clip down and maybe see if we can pinpoint anything exactly. Now this one's a little different because we're kind of going back to the Kako Ice Bomb, but it also has a meat hook, so it leads you to believe that the meat hook or the Ice Bomb have a factor in there as you go for the blood punch. Okay, I've never seen this situation before. Check it out. Okay, what happened here? Let's take another look. I think it's the extra life. The first punch he seemed maybe a little bit further back. Well, let's look at it in slow motion. The only thing I can think of, okay, he does the animation there, 3 animations, so side, forward. He's lunging forward as the punch is there. We need to look at that one again. Okay, really slow this time. He gets charged right here, okay? Throws the ice bomb out. Surely that's nothing to do with it. So he gets charged, swiped again as the extra life toggles, throws the punch as the pinky's coming back. The ice bomb has nothing to do with the pinky being hit at all. But it's so weird trying to pinpoint these exact triggers and locations, but something happened there for sure. If you notice though, each punch the pinky was swerving or swiping or coming toward him with the animation, so the extra life may not factor in, but the pinky's movement may have. Most of the time when I glory kill pinkies, I'm able to get into an advantageous position to them, but you're not always going to be able to do that, and that's when you need it the most. So I tried it on the Knight here in Exultia to see if I could maybe replicate the extra life glitch, but it didn't seem to really do anything. I tried to make sure his animations were going and my faltering with the super shotgun, but didn't really get much. Now this Knight here, I actually slowed down the game. This is not slow motion footage, the game itself is slowed. Watch this. That should have been a punch. Let's take a look at that again in slow motion. I specifically wanted to falter the Knight, that way I could try to replicate all this animation stuff, but maybe it was the damage scale to AI command. I just wanted to at least try to give it a chance and see what I could find out, getting a little experimental with things. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the comments section.